Alright, everybody, it's that time again where I go over a whole bunch of albums I listen to in full for a given month. Today we're doing July. Like usual, I'm going to make myself smaller. I'm going to try to keep this as brief as possible. Not as big of a list. I probably won't listen to like not even 50 albums in July, so this should go by pretty quickly. I'm going to skirt through a couple of them because there's going to be more dedicated videos or a more dedicated video on them. You'll see. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright, to start off, we got the first EP from Skrillex. My Name is Skrillex. I included it in this month because I forgot to add it for June. I actually listened to it on my way to go see, oh god, what's his name? Scott Steiner, I believe? The guy who does the retail TikToks, and it's really funny. This EP takes me back to the early 2010s, man. Like the title track and Weekends and Fucking Die One. Really something different for sure. Pure nostalgia. Then, first actual listen of the month was the brand new album from Lil Texas, Too Fast. And it's him doing what he does best. It's a full album of bops and bangers, lightning fast hardcore, just absolutely killer tunes. He really doesn't miss. I'm really looking forward to seeing him in less than a week. It's going to be an absolute blast. I listened to The Negation from Decapitated. Really, really dig these guys. I'm still like trying to just sink into their discography. Real killer, tight, technical death metal, and I absolutely love the guitar work from these guys. So I'm looking forward to moving on with more. Then I gave a listen to the final album. Well, I don't think it's the final one, but it's the last one with Trevor from Black Dahlia Murder and their album Baroness. I think it's very solid, but it kind of pales in comparison to other releases of theirs. I do like, Dawn of Rats is one that I go back to pretty often. The title track is good. Other than that, everything else is kind of okay. It's fine for what it is. I do like the Vermin themes kind of that bookend the album, I suppose. After that, we got Dream Theater with Systematic Chaos. I actually really like this album a lot. I'm going to touch on it more in the Dream Theater video, as with the rest of the Dream Theater albums for this month. But this is great front to back. Awesome album. I think this is my album of the month for certain. Hard to say though. Like it was really hard to choose. But yeah. Then I gave a listen to my favorite Black Label Society album, 1919 Eternal. Absolutely love this record. Fell in love with it like when I was suffering through summer school between my junior and senior year, I believe it was. So it always takes me back to that period of time when I was listening to it off of a fat 160 gig iPod Classic. Good times. And great songs on here, like all throughout. It's my favorite for a reason. Like Bleed for Me, Life, Birth, Blood, Doom, Demise of Sanity, Lords of Destruction, lots of heavy stuff on here. Berserkers, Genocide Junkies, Graveyard Disciples, or like epic ballads like Lost Heaven, or probably my favorite track on the album, Bridge to Cross. Just great front to back. Love this record. Then listen to Hatebreed's Supremacy album. I think this is the most successful one, and it kicks ass from front to back. Honestly, it's very, very solid, very upfront. It absolutely kills. It slays. I go back to Defeatist very often. Of course, Destroy Everything's a killer track, as well as To the Threshold, among several others. It's great hardcore record for sure. I listened to Deathless from Revocation. Enjoying each succeeding album going through their discography. Just riff salad. Love these guys. Love their playing. They're just songs kick ass. They're excellent. Love them. I gave a listen to Dream Theater's Black Clouds and Silver Linings, just like Systematic Chaos and every other Dream Theater album in this month, except for the one at the very end, which we'll get to. I listened to at least twice, and I go over that in the video that is going to be posted about Dream Theater eventually. This is a really good album, honestly. First listen through, I thought it was okay. Second listen through, really solid. I'm really glad I got to see the Count of Tuscany played live. Rite of Passage is really good. The best of days, best of times, I forget. It's solid. It's a really good album from them. Then we have Gnarls Barkley's Saint Elsewhere album. I believe they won a Grammy for this album, or at least the song Crazy. And there really is so much more to this album than just Crazy, damn it. I love this record. Like, it came with a catalog for free, because my mom would order CDs from a catalog, and she just gave it to me, and I just dug into it and ended up just really loving it. And still to this day, it's one of my favorite albums of all time. At least it's up there for sure. Love Crazy, love the title track. That's probably my favorite song of the album, arguably. Gone Daddy Gone, Smiley Faces, Feng Shui, Transformer, Online, The Last Time, Storm Coming. There's a whole bunch of good material on here. It's very diverse too. Like there's a lot of different sounding tracks on here for sure. Some more depressing ones, some more quirky, funny, tongue-in-cheek ones for sure. It's just a great record. I listened to Wheels, Moving Backwards. Very solid prog metal album, a la Tool, Chevelle, Carnival. From front to back, it's excellent. Where the Pieces Lie is a great track. Wheel is the song that started it all for me and these guys. Love that song. I think it's a beautiful, just masterpiece of a song that just progresses so well. It builds the way it changes. It's great, even though it kind of blatantly rips off Ticks and Leeches by Tool. At least the drumming does. And of course the song Vultures is excellent. Really dig this album a lot. I'll shout out the song Skeletons as well. Then the two-song single from Palms, opening title / end credits. I've touched on it before. Love it to death. I've only grown more to appreciate end credits, even more than the opening titles probably at this point. Love it. More Palms. Please give us more Palms. I know we're getting new crosses soon. I'm so happy about that. But I need more Palms in my life. Then I gave a full triple album listen to The Weeknd's trilogy mixtape series. All three mixtapes redone a little bit. The new versions, the trilogy versions. So this means House of Balloons, Thursday, and Echoes of Silence. And I dig it. Like this era of The Weeknd for me is just so, I don't know what it is about it. It's just great. It's sultry, it's smooth, it's kind of melancholy, but also really sexy and naughty. It's like party time, but like the kind of drugs you're on at the party is like you're probably not having the best time. It's excellent. I think Echoes of Silence, like as a whole, is my favorite mixtape. And I can't not mention how great Wicked Games is and how often I go back to that track. And RTJ4, Run the Jewels. Re-listen to this one because why wouldn't I? Love Run the Jewels. Love this album. This is the latest release from them. I think we're getting something soon. I know Killer Mike just released an album, so maybe they'll get back on it. But yeah, love this record. Yankee and the Brave, Just, A Few Words for the Firing Squad are just a few of my favorites. I know like a lot of people like Ooh La La. I don't know. I just find like the hook chorus to be a little kind of annoying, so it kind of like sours it a bit for me. But that's just my opinion. I think the whole album from front to back is very solid. Love it. Same goes for Ohms from Deftones. Listen to it again because why wouldn't I? It's Deftones. They're only my favorite band in the world. And yeah, still digging this one quite a lot. Love Error. Spell of Mathematics is still my favorite probably. This Link is Dead goes so hard. Like it would be amazing to see that performed live because it really is like a standout track on here. Even if like it's a little different, you know, just the frantic hi-hat drumming from Abe. Like it's such a good composition. Of course the title track is probably another favorite on here, Ceremony. It's good. Just listen to it, damn it. Strongly recommend. And listen to the first EP from I Wrestle the Bear Once. And it's obviously just absolutely ridiculous, frantic, avant-garde, mathcore on steroids, on crack. Ulrich Firelord, Breaker of Mountains, Alaskan Flounder Basket, Corey Feldman, Holocaust, just ridiculous shit. Listen to the new album from Snuffed on Sight, Smoke. Less than 20 minutes. It's just slamtastic. They absolutely bring it. Crushing, heavy riffs, just the most disgusting killer vocals. Absolutely slaps. If you like your slam with a bunch of like a touch of hardcore, it's great. It's definitely for you. Don't sleep on it. I listened to Dramatic Turn of Events. Very good Dream Theater album. This almost became my album of the month. It was only etched out ever so slightly by Systematic Chaos, but this is a great album for sure. I'll be talking about it more soon in the future. Crowbar, Symmetry in Black. I thought this was a decent album. The production was fine. The songs weren't as memorable. I mean, there were a lot of cool riffs here and there. It is a very solid album, but I didn't really get much from it personally. It wasn't many like sticky moments. Nothing really that just like oh, it just blew my mind. Like, oh, that crushes. It's a very, very standard record from them, in my opinion. But yeah, moving on to the next one, Baroness with Yellow. Listened to this a couple times. Strongly recommend. Love this record to death. I think it's fantastic from front to back. Even paired up with Green, it's really good. Take My Bones Away, March to the Sea, Little Things, Cocainium, Eula. I think every single song here is great, but those ones especially have always gotten significant replays from me. Moving on to the self-titled from Dream Theater. Yeah, I touched on this a bit more in my Dream Theater video that's coming up, but it's good. Like, it's definitely not as bad as some Dream Theater fans would probably say it is. The Enemy Inside is one of their best songs for sure. Everything else is really solid. Illumination Theory is really good. Other than that, like, yeah, it's just really tight performances and like really overproduced, overcompressed drums. But other than that, like, it's solid. It's a good album. And I listened to Ison's latest album, Stars and Embers. Really pretty. It's a culmination of everything they've done until this point, and it's really pretty. What can I say? It's Ison, one of my favorite new artists that I've found in recent times. Check it out. Then I listened to Mastodon's Blood Mountain, getting to move on with their discography. Love this album. This used to be my favorite album back in the day, but in recent years I've come to realize it's cracked the sky. But from front to back, this is such a great album. Some of my favorite Mastodon tracks end up on here. Sleeping Giant is top notch for me. Capillary Crest is so the musicianship on that one's just insane. Same goes for Blade Catcher, like absolutely awesome. Then you got crushers like Circle of Sisquatch, The Wolf is Loose, Hunters in the Sky, and then more stripped back tracks that just deliver so good, like This Mortal Soil or Colony of Birdsmen. Love this record. Strongly recommend. I listened to Evolve from Chelsea Grin. This is where everything really took a turn for these guys. With the help of Jason Richardson of Born of Osiris fame at that point, really turned these guys around and made some really just solid, well-polished, clear-cut deathcore tracks with a lot of dazzle in them and just crushing heavy moments. Even some clean vocals, like that's definitely like a welcome change. Like, this is a classic in the genre for sure. Don't Ask, Don't Tell, easily one of my favorite songs, period, hands down across all genres. Love it to death. Yeah, I kind of miss this Chelsea Green quite a lot. Strongly recommend. Then listen to the Little Texas Textcore EP. Yeah, just like getting started with like actual EP releases and stuff, and just 4 bangers. Not much else to say. Just goes harder than a bag of bricks, like Little Texas does. And I forgot to listen to this one twice, so I don't have to touch on it in August. But Carnival's Asymmetry. It's a very odd album. It's very much a bunch of odd time signatures, very proggy, very different, and like it really lives up to the title, and it actually really is a work of art. The thing is, it's not as accessible or straightforward as the previous 2 releases, so it's definitely not going to be for everyone. It's not going to satiate everybody's appetite. But Eidolon is by far one of my favorite Carnival songs, and one of my favorite songs, period. And there are also great tracks on here, like The Refusal and Aeons. We Are is really good. AM War. Yeah, very, very good album. And then we have The Astonishing from Dream Theater. Why don't you just make a movie? Or at the very least, cut like 45 minutes off this album. It's a bit too long. It'll be addressed more in the actual Dream Theater video. Then we have Nails, Unsilent Death. Strongly recommend. Go listen to it. It's only 14 minutes. Do it right now if you haven't. What are you doing? Then we have the 2 EP from Sleep Token, because just want to listen to all 3 songs from it. It's really good. What can I say? Nazareth is one of the sexiest songs I've ever heard. Yes. I listened to Dream Theater's Distance Over Time. It's not a bad album. There wasn't as much that stuck with me. I think At Wit's End is a really solid track. But other than that, it's really just like run-of-the-mill Dream Theater at this point. Even though like all these songs were written, like all of them put together, and all this was put together in like 18 days, which is like really, really impressive. It kind of shows, but it's not bad. We got Concealing Fate EP from Tesseract. Strongly recommend. Go listen to it. Exodus, Another Lesson in Violence. Reunion with Paul Bailoff, and they just basically play every song that they wrote with him. And it kicks ass. It's killer. Yeah, what can I say? It's a must-listen thrash album, even if it's live performances. It's definitely worth checking out. Then I listened to Chevelle's Neuratius. God damn it. Name your albums better. I think it's a very solid album. It's a little bit bold of them to go with like the concept album route with like a consistent story. Great songs on it. Peach is really good. Self Destructor, Mars Simula. Overall, it doesn't quite do it for me like other Chevelle albums does, but it's still interesting. I still liked it. We have a classic here, Led Zeppelin 2. Like what is there to say? This is a masterpiece. It's a classic. Have you not heard it? Strongly recommend. Yeah, not much else to say. Dream Theater, A View from the Top of the World, the latest offering from them, and yeah, just like Distance Over Time, like it's painting by numbers for them at this point, but the material is still good. It's still pretty dazzling. There's still a lot of great stuff to sink your teeth into. Good songs. The Alien is probably my favorite. It will be touched on a bit more. And Casualties of Cool. So the next sequence of albums are albums that I put on when I took my mom out to the coast when she visited from Utah. We went to Half Moon Bay and then drove up to San Francisco and hung out. It was really nice, and we listened to basically all these. Well, I'll let you know. Casualties of Cool. One of my favorite albums of all time. Devin Townsend, Jamie Dorval. Check it out. I've talked about it endlessly at this point. The latest EP from Crosses, Permanent Radiance. It is so good. Like, or more so, it's really good. They're not stopping here. They just put out a new song. They just announced a tour, and they're going to, well, it's a little mini tour, but they're coming to San Francisco. I cannot wait to see them. I'm so excited. But yeah, Day One, Holier, Sensation, Vivian, my favorite tracks. They're all really good. Then Initiation, Protection. Love these two tracks. It's just like a little 2-song single. I've gone back to Protection several times, probably more so. But yeah, and then we listened to Lantelos, Melting Sun, In Traffic on, I think it was the 92 or something like that. Beautiful shoegaze post-metal album. Love it to death. I would say Azure Chimes, Cherry Quartz, and Jade Fields are by far and away the best tracks for me. Just beautiful album. Same goes for this one. This is probably like my number 3 favorite albums of all times. Self-titled from Palms. It's a masterpiece. Strongly recommend. It's so good. Also strongly recommend this one. This is my favorite Pussifer album. Really love this one quite a lot. Once upon a time, I had issues with the San Francisco legal system regarding my vehicle. My work at the time would allow me to borrow a work vehicle to go out there back and forth so I can get everything taken care of. And I would listen to Pussifer and get myself familiarized with them at the time, and I don't know why I was sleeping on them for so long, because I was at like this birthday party and this guy put this album on, so I heard like the first 5 or 6 tracks. I was like, wow, this is really freaking good. And yeah, it's one of my favorite albums of all time. Love it to death. I can't really, like, I've listened to it so much at this point, there's not much I can add to it. The Weaver, Tiny Monsters, Green Valley, Monsoons, beautiful. Telling Ghosts is probably my favorite song on here, easily one of my favorite Pussifer songs. Horizons made me cry when I saw them play it live. When I first saw them play live. Man Overboard is funny and sexy. The Rapture, just this whole album. Moving on, we listened to Sleep Tokens, Take Me Back to Eden. Skipped Are You Really Okay and Do Wish That You Love Me, but we don't have to talk about that. Masterpiece, regardless. Despite that, loved it to death. I've already nerded out a whole bunch about it. I just put out a Sleep Token video. Check that out. Strongly recommend. I went back to work, and that's always fun. Rez, Spiral, a short little album with a bunch of like good ass songs, like a few of them that could be even like played on the radio, like, and just some straight up bangers. Chemical Bond is what drew me into like actually listening to this full album, and it's good. It's really good. I dig it quite a lot. I wish I could see Rez live. Then went back and listened to A Change of Seasons because I realized that I totally forgot it. And it's really good, honestly. The title track alone is what really is the EP. The rest is just some live performances, some medleys, and some covers. But it's really solid. More on that in the Dream Theater video. And Little Texas, Texacore EP2. Same goes for this as it does the first EP. I think this one's even better, honestly, just slightly. I listened to Animals as Leaders, Parrhesia. This was the same day as when I went and saw Dream Theater, Devin Townsend, and Animals as Leaders in concert. Really dig this album. So when I got to San Jose, I only got to see like a couple, like maybe one of these songs getting played. I got there like halfway during the set. But there are a bunch of good songs on here for sure. I listened to the Untitled, Unmastered Sleep Token bootleg, I guess you could say. I listened to it on the way home from the show, and It's honestly really great. Like, of course, it's a bunch of unfinished songs and songs that they never actually even like officially released. Lots of great stuff on here, though. Death by Plane into Apollonia. I can't tell you how many times I just repeat those two songs, like one right into the other. But of course, like other ones like Ice Ache, Acoustic One. I absolutely love the chord progression in that. The little lead in the background. Acoustic One is very pretty. I think all the vocals by Chino are like completely improvised on that one. And then Kool-Aid Party with Mike Patton. That one's actually really, really an interesting one for sure. Love that song. Yeah, just wish some of these. I mean, there's literally so many demos out there that you can find that Team Sleep just like leaked or posted. Like, there are probably some from MySpace and whatnot over time. There's definitely a whole bunch out there. I checked out again, Sounding the Seventh Trumpet from Avenged Sevenfold. Yeah, very raw, very rudimentary metalcore release from them. Not nearly as good as Waking the Fallen, but there's still a lot of good stuff on here, like Darkness Surrounding, the art of the art of subconscious illusion. I think my favorite track on here, maybe, possibly, perhaps, is Lips of Deceit. Love that track. And of course, Warmness on the Soul and To End the Rapture sounds like stuff that would later on go and do. So yeah, not a bad album. Then listen to Immolation's Dawn of Possession. Keep hearing about like how consistent these guys' discography is, and I think this particular album I've heard at least once. But yeah, it's really frantic, chaotic. I really love how fast and riffy a whole lot of it is. It really is just like chaos for sure. Very, very solid classic death metal album here. And because I've been slack on these guys, and they just put out a new album today, I believe, Humanity's Last Breath and their first album, Structures Collapse. First time listen. Very standard deathcore for the time. I think this was 2011. So it is a little bit generic, but there are a few moments that really stand out and like pop off. But you probably get the same experience with, maybe perhaps All Shall Perish or Thy Art Is Murder, maybe a little bit of Carnifex. But every band's got to start somewhere, and this definitely like fits in like very well with that era of deathcore. Then I listened to the Tortured Whole album from Sanguisugabog, and it's very heavy. Like I mean, I put on Dead as Shit enough times. I figure I'd give the whole album a listen, and it kicks ass. It really does. Yeah, very slammy, low tune. I think the guitars are tuned down to G, which is insane. Very old school sounding, despite being only a couple years old. Then listen to Green from Baroness, the sister album to Yellow. They were released as like a double album basically, and this one's a whole lot more stripped down, a whole lot more cleaner, a lot less edge, and it really shows on songs like Board Up the House and Psalms Alive and Stretch Marker. But it doesn't take away from the quality of these songs at all. Like, they're really good. And the same kind of goes for this album, Blonde Redhead and Melody of Certain Damaged Lemons. It has the meme song on it. You probably, if you look into it, funny thing about that, I was like, okay, like after I saw them open up for Tool and my mind was absolutely blown by them because I was on mushrooms at the time and was tripping during their opening set, I was like, oh my god. Started looking into them finally, and For the Damaged Coda happened to be the one that had like 60 or 70 million plays on Spotify, while everything else didn't even have like 4 or 5. It's like, why is that? And it's the Evil Morty theme. It's from Rick and Morty. But yeah, compared to their couple previous albums before this, this one's a lot more stripped back, a lot more like shoegazy and reserved, a lot more quiet for the most part. And I kind of like that direction on this one for sure. I gotta say, standouts for me for this one have to be Hated Because of Great Qualities and Loved Despite of Great Faults, I think are the song titles. Really good ones. And then I gave a re-listen to this one since I only listened to it once. Dream Theater's Falling Into Infinity. Wasn't too big into it. And yeah, for this one, it just kind of pales in comparison to other albums that they've done. I mean, it's not bad, but it really isn't very much engaging, in my opinion. It's fine, but there's definitely better albums they've done. But bam, that's it. That's all. Wow, look at that. All done. Easy peasy. Alright, so if you enjoyed this or if you listened to any of these albums, let me know down in the comments. Be sure to give this video a like, subscribe if you haven't, hit the bell for notifications so you don't miss a video. Check out my other videos as well, or don't. It just doesn't matter as long as you enjoy.